Imagine for a moment that you are 15 years old, and your dad, he's not really in the picture, and your mom is working 2 jobs just to keep the family afloat. So as the oldest sibling, your job is to get your younger siblings to school every day. Now, it's likely that you'll probably be late to your own school. In fact, you might also be late a lot, and you might start to fall behind in your classes and lose interest, and your teachers might get really frustrated. These kinds of things are to be expected. What you might not expect is that you would end up in juvenile detention. But this is exactly what was happening to Utah teens for years. In fact, in 2014, over 40% of our juvenile justice population were there on truancy-related charges. So our community was thrilled when in 2017, the Utah State Legislature passed the Juvenile Justice Reform Bill, HB 239, that, among other things, prevented schools from using the criminal justice system to enforce their attendance policies. However, just 1 year later, much of the bill was put on hold or repealed because of an overwhelming outcry from school administrators, teachers, and counselors. So why? Why would a bill that was so well researched and so well intentioned essentially fail at the implementation stage? That is the question that I sought to answer through my research. So I began by gathering data from the bill's inception in 2014 through its implementation in 2018. And I used a combination of ethnographic and discourse analysis methods to look for clues and themes. And one of my preliminary findings was that there were fundamental differences in the ways that various stakeholders conceptualized justice, equity, and fairness for teenagers. For example, juvenile judges tended to see justice as a way to restore balance to the metaphysical scales of morality, whereas those who were involved in family and social services tended to see justice as a way to compensate individuals for societal wrongs like racism and poverty, whereas school administrators had a totally different view. Now, these conflicting and different views about justice resulted in a bill that lacked a cohesive vision or legal intelligible principles that could have guided schools in crafting new attendance rules and policies. Now, this kind of research is so important because more and more state legislatures are seeking to reform school discipline at the state level. So we desperately need policymakers at the state house that understand the realities at the schoolhouse so that more Utah teens don't end up in the jailhouse. Thank you.